Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video, we're going to chat about Stasis and how it might affect the flow of PvP in the Crucible. I've seen a lot of concerns from people posting on Twitter and on various forums regarding Stasis, and specifically people voicing concerns about the immobilizing effects of the freezing mechanics. And I think that those concerns are very valid. But I'm going to make a prediction here in this video about the direction Bungie is headed and how Stasis helps progress the game in that direction. And whether that direction is good or bad for Destiny, well, I'll leave that up to you. Before we dive into that conversation, let me just remind you that I partner with GamerSupps. They're a caffeine drink for gamers, and I absolutely love the product. It doesn't taste like a protein shake or some, weird supplement powder, and they don't claim to do anything dramatic like increase your mental sharpness by 35%, and will definitely give you the reaction speed of an adult panther. Right? They don't say any of that. GamerSupps tastes great, and it gives me a nice caffeine boost in the afternoons when I'm getting lethargic. So feel free to use my code Vanguard on an order sometime. You'll get a discount, I'll get a kickback, and all gamers will rejoice. Yay! Now, with Stasis, I see Bungie making a deliberate step with this elemental type to start leading the game down a different path. Destiny 2 can be described so far as a slow descent into chaos. When Destiny 2 launched, it was very structured and orderly. There were, clear limitations were put in place to guide the pace of the game and to keep it controlled. Special weapons from Destiny 1 were put into the heavy slot and only were allowed to come out of their cages here and there, right? Supers were effective, but they weren't over the top. Dawnblade in Year 1, for example, was slow and easy to teamfire, and it had no additional mobility options. Spamming the light attack on the Striker super would deplete your super energy incredibly fast. Even the maps were designed to offer specific lanes of engagement and kept strict parameters on Guardians in terms of where they could go and how they could engage their opponents. But as we all know, it didn't stay this way. People missed the chaos that Destiny used to embrace. We used to use our abilities more, we used to move in more creative ways and use our powerful weapons for, half our engagements or more. So Bungie started to remove restrictions. They started with the, you remember the Go Fast update, which dramatically increased the pace of the game? With one update, the game made a dramatic shift, and Guardians were much more zoomy, making the pace of PvP much faster. Then, a bunch of patches and exotics started making our supers last longer, or by giving us the ability to get more supers in general, like with the new mod system, making Light Reactor and, those mods a part of every build. And before that, we had all these exotics like Ursa Furiosa and the Shards of Galanor, giving us more supers in a match. Bungie started making patches that made our abilities stronger and more amplified. Remember, Arc Web was off the charts. They ended up having to dial that back in, actually. Titans, arcing damage into different zip codes, right? I mean, the Crucible was a chaotic place. Then we saw Bungie start to make certain statements in their TWAB posts like, hey, we may have swung the pendulum a little too far in the opposite direction, right? They expressed concerns about just how nutty things were getting, and they wanted to start reeling things back in a little bit. Now, we've seen some specific nerfs to the sandbox in the past year that were deliberate attempts to bring that pendulum back towards the center a little bit. But I think this is where Stasis comes in. I believe that Stasis is Bungie's solution to the problem. Just like the darkness is seen as the antithesis to the light and the thing that balances out the power of the light, I think Stasis will be the antithesis of the chaos. I think Stasis exists to keep the chaos in check. I mean, to get real nerdy about it, the nature of freezing things into a solid state is really just the process of getting all the particles and the atoms to slow down and stand still, right? Exciting the atoms and the particles heats them up and gets them moving really, really fast, right? I see Stasis as Bungie's response to the chaos. This new elemental type will help slow things back down a little bit in PvP. Right now, it can be hard to have good duels at medium range. People are able to move quickly, close gaps really fast, and do so pretty safely. Warlocks have their dashes and their blink. Titans can ballistic slam halfway across the map or get various shields to offset the danger of running up on someone. Hunters can break aim assist and change directions mid-air, forcing reloads while they put a shotgun barrel in your face. Movement is off the charts right now. Stasis is going to come in and basically be the referee here. It's like when you get a new boss, right? Let's say you get a new boss, because the last boss was a pushover, and corporate was like, nah, we're gonna send in a real stickler to get things in order down there at that department. And that's what I see Stasis as, right? We're getting a new boss. It's like, listen, things are a little out of control. I'm a real stickler, right? We're gonna have the option to slow Guardians down. We saw that you can actually create crystals that zone off areas or stop Guardians in their tracks. It might actually be really effective to run a ranged build when Beyond Light drops and focus on using your abilities to keep players at arm's length. You could have a build completely designed to slow down Guardian pushes. It could help mitigate the dangers of brainless apes and force them to be smarter and more strategic if they want to run up on you. It looks like we'll have a stasis field grenade, right? We'll have these stasis field grenades that will slow enemies down as they pass through it and freeze them if they stay in it for too long. Toss that baby down in front of an aping shotgunner and primary him to death while he tries to run in slow motion, right? Or he swaps off of his shotty, and that costs him valuable seconds. We'll have grenades that form walls to block off sections of the map, doors, revives, etc. These will be strong zoning tools. Or imagine using the Warlock ability Frost Pulse to bait aggressive players into pushing you and then casting your Rift just as they come around the corner and freezing them in place. Stasis is going to be all about controlling the pace of the game. It's going to be about slowing things down. But at the same time, it doesn't detract from the power fantasy. The game isn't being slowed down itself by a nerf or a patch. It's not having your power taken away from you. It's about having a chess match where if your opponent chooses to do so, they can decide to run a build that's less about aggression and more about countering your abilities. And I think overall this is a great approach rather than just nerfing the crap out of our power as Guardians. I've honestly been craving more controlled gameplay lately. I don't ever want to go back to Destiny Year 1, right? Destiny 2 Year 1, but I do want to have more emphasis on gunplay and positioning than what currently exists in the game. My hope is that Stasis will offer that shift that we need. I think it's going to give players more control and allow them to dictate the pace of their engagements better. I personally can't wait to get my hands on these subclasses and start going ham-bodacious in PvP. I'm beyond excited for Beyond Light, and I'm anxious to see if my predictions about the purpose and the utility of Stasis are correct. So let me know in the comments section how you're feeling about Stasis. Are you ready? Are you excited? Are you cautiously optimistic? Or do you flat out believe that this will be an awful thing for PvP in Destiny 2? Can't wait to sift through some of your comments. And just a reminder that if you want to support me directly, the best way to do that is by hitting the support button on Facebook Gaming at truevanguard.com. So I appreciate that as well. So thanks for tuning in and watching the video. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.